Okay, I hope you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Not yet visible, right?
Okay,
Not yet.
okay.
Now is appearing.
Yes.
Okay, good. So what is SAP? If you ask anybody, they'll say SAP means ERP, but nobody will explain you what is ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Can someone tell me what do you understand by Enterprise Resource Planning? From a generalized convention point of view, what do you understand? What do you think ERP is? It says Enterprise Resource Planning. What are we planning? The resources. Whose resources? The enterprise resources. So we are planning the enterprise resources in such a way that we are using the resources effectively. I don't know who is speaking, but can you please all go on mute? I think I'll mute all. I hope you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have muted all. Yeah, please mute yourself. So ERP is all about enterprise resource planning. So the simple way to define ERP is to think about all the core business process need to run in a company, maybe finance, HR, manufacturing, supply chain, services, procurement, and others. Now, why do I need integration between finance and supply chain, finance and manufacturing, finance and other departments? Can someone tell me why do I require integration? Or why do I require integration between finance and procurement?
All are interrelated, basically, processes.
Why you think it is all interrelated?
Because you start with doing a manufacturing, right? A product. And when you make a product, then it has to have I would say services also to be supporting those product implementation.
Correct.
And then you need to make a sales out of it.
Correct.
So in that sense, you also require HR department to manage that. You require
Correct.
sales department to manage. You require procurement team to do a procurement for you for the equipments and products.
Correct. Can I go a little before even manufacturing starting the process? Let us say if I wanted to produce a car, if I wanted to go and buy a car, right? What would your car dealer will say? Sir, you place the order now. You will get the car in 1 month time. Why do you think the person is taking 1 month time to deliver the car? Even though there is a car in his showroom, why is he still saying he'll take 1 month to deliver the car? I mean, it's nothing to do with SAP or nothing to do with any other business knowledge. Just trying to understand from your perspective, why do you think the car dealer will say 1 month is a waiting period?
He has to take your order first.
Yeah, he will take the order first, and then what? He will
in the order you will specify. Yeah.
Correct. He will specify. Let's say I'm taking a standard product, no customizations. Still, he will say 15 days waiting period, sir. Why? Even though there are other competitors who are ready to give you immediately, but you're still interested in buying this car. Let's say I want to buy Mahindra XUV. If I go and ask Mahindra XUV guys, you give me a standard product. They'll say, sir, waiting period is 2 months. I'm willing to open and wait for that period. But why I'm waiting for that period? Why this guy is saying 2 months? The moment I place the order, the dealer will go to his principal and say, hey, there is an order received for XUV 700, one vehicle. Yeah, let us assume the company produces 100 vehicles per day. They have 200 dealers in India. Let's say each dealer has received one order, right? So how many cars they want to sell for the day? 200 vehicles. How many they have? 100 vehicles. So to fulfill the additional gap of 100 vehicles, do they need to manufacture the vehicles? Correct, right? They need to manufacture the vehicles. If they have to manufacture the vehicles, they would require the raw materials for the vehicle manufacturing. Correct? They need the components, they need the tires, they need the gears, they need the rods, they need steel. All they would require, right? If they require all those, that needs to be procured. Without procuring those materials, will I be able to manufacture it? Without procuring, if I want to procure it, should I have a cash in my hand? Right? If I don't have a cash in mind, should I go back and ask the supplier, hey, you give me the product, I'll come back and pay you after 1 month, because the customer is paying me in 15 days. I'll pay you in another 15 days time maximum. So you look at it. You are selling one ultimate product of car. But in order to manufacture your car, you require raw materials. In order to acquire your raw materials to issue a manufacturing plant, these raw materials needs to be acquired by a procurement department. In order to acquire this by this procurement department, the finance department needs to provide the money or the resources to the procurement department, and this department will procure the goods and services and give it to the plant. Now in the plant, there are a lot of workers, right? So each worker wage would be different. One worker may work for per day wages. Another worker will say, no, I'm not interested in per wage. You give me weekly wage. Another person say, no, I'm not interested in wages. You give me salaries. What do you mean difference between wages and salaries? Wages, you give it for the daily labor. Salary, you give it for the fixed employee, right? He will say, no, I'm not interested in wages. You give me salary, commitment every month. Maybe I want to work in your company for long duration, right? So these guys require salaries. These guys require wages for you to pay and manufacture the plant, manufacturing the machine. So in order to manufacture one car, lot of departments coordination is required, isn't it so? Right? You need to have a department coordination. What happens? You acquire the plant, you acquire the machinery in your plant, but you don't see a demand in the product. What will happen? You unnecessarily produce cars, but they are unsold and lying in the inventory, which is a cost for you because you are acquiring this raw material from the supplier on credit. You are not paying by cash. So he would say, no, after 1 month you delay my payment, you will have to pay penalty. So if I'm unable to sell my cars because I estimated my demand wrongly, in such a case, I have to pay penalty to my supplier. Isn't it so? So having an integration among all the departments is very crucial. So ERP package, ERP solution helps us in terms of having this collaboration, having these interactions. Yeah. So if does SAP and ERP same? ERP is about how effectively you can plan your resources. Under ERP, you have a different technologies. SAP is one technology. Oracle, you have one technology. JD Edwards, you have one technology. JD Edwards or PeopleSoft, there are different technologies. All these technologies are ERP companies, which will help your organizations to plan your resources effectively, to integrate your resources effectively, to integrate your departments effectively. Any questions so far? Yeah. So are we clear with ERP? What is ERP? It's a central component, which is like a nervous system which connects everything to your body. For example, your nervous system, your brain controls everything in your body. In the same way, ERP is a central component in your organization where each department get integrated with it and get a information flowing to that department, flowing to that units, right? Clear? So out of ERP, there are different ERPs available in the market. One is SAP, another one is Oracle, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards. Now, majority of you would be hearing the term called SAP and HANA. Tell me honestly, how many of you heard the term called HANA? Hello, you can unmute yourself and answer my question.
I heard.
Okay, how about rest?
I heard.
Yeah, thanks. How about the rest of the team? Okay, I think most of you are shy to speak, but yeah. Have you ever wondered what is HANA? Now, let's try to understand what is HANA. And even before trying to understand what is HANA, let us try to understand the history of SAP. Now, we are trying to understand ERP. What is ERP? ERP is a central component, right? Which works like a nervous system, right? Which works like a nervous system. Under ERP, I have SAP. What is SAP? SAP is nothing but system application products. So that's the abbreviation. We don't need to worry about the abbreviation. But what is SAP? So to understand SAP, let us try to go back to the history of SAP. SAP was started by 5 German guys. These 5 German guys are used to work in IBM company. All of a sudden, these five German guys have a crazy thought that they can build some product and they can market this product to, they saw an opportunity in product building. They collaborated together and built a product called SAP. Yeah. So they built a product called SAP. Can you please go on mute? Afrin, it's most of the time your noise is coming from your side. Yeah. Okay. So they built a product called SAP. So initially they built a product called R1 system, then R2 system, R3 system, then ECC, S4, sorry, ECC, and then HANA, and then S4 system, etc. What is R2, R3, R1, R2, R3 system is? There are different versions of the system. For example, if you look at iPhone, I'm giving you a simplistic example because it's the first day or a first demo session. That's why I'm trying to go and give you a simplistic example. But in real classes, we will try to understand what does R1, R2, R3, ECC, etc. So what I'm trying to mention is when SAP is, when iPhone is released, they have released one particular model, right? iPhone 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is. Let us say they release a model. Now, what is the current model number? iPhone 16, isn't it? So over the years, the iPhone has evolved in such a way that they have upgrading their product. They are including the new features and functionalities of the product over a period of time. Even SAP is also doing the same. Every now and then, maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, they are trying to build a product and they're upgrading their product from the existing landscape to the new system landscape. For example, if you see R3, they mentioned there are 3 different layers: application layer, presentation layer, database layer. We'll discuss all these layers in the regular session. What we are trying to understand is what is this SAP is all about. SAP is an ERP system which will help you to ease and smooth your integration between different departments, which will help you to effectively manage your resources. So the history of the SAP goes back to 1960s, 1970s, where the SAP has been introduced and developed by 5 German guys who are working in IBM. And then the product started evolving over a period of time. Initially started with R1, then R2, then R3, then ECC, then HANA, and then S4 system. Now, how come HANA is important here? Well, now, if I ask you a question, let's say you are taking a picture, phone. Where does this picture stores? Where does this picture store?
Database.
Database. What does this database means? It's a storage.
Database.
Right? It's a storage database. Similarly, SAP also needs to have a database, right? Till ECC system, SAP is heavily depending on Oracle database, Oracle DB. Yeah. So what does it mean? SAP and Oracle are the tough competitors in the industry of ERP. If at any point in time Oracle says, hey, SAP, stop, I'm not going to give you my database access to you, then the entire SAP business would collapse, isn't it? Because till ECC system, ECC in sense till 2009, they were heavily depending upon Oracle database. Then SAP has realized that over last 20-30 years onwards, I am heavily depending on Oracle and I am paying huge amount of money towards database. So they developed a new database called HANA database. They also call it as in-memory database. What is in-memory database? Now, let me ask this question. Have you ever saw a phone specification? Let's say iPhone 16. What is the phone specification? If I say if I say that no, I buy a new iPhone, what is your first question? Hey, tell me what are your specifications? How GB RAM? What is your hard disk? Right? Why RAM is so important? Why do you think RAM is so important? In order to assess the speed of your device, how quickly your device is responding, how quickly your device is functioning, is all depends on your RAM. All right, random access memory. So SAP says, does any data get stored in RAM? The answer is no. None of your data gets stored in RAM. All the data go and sits in the database, but not in the RAM. Right? Whenever you take a picture, it does not get stored in your RAM. It go and store in your database, maybe SD card or maybe internal database. Then why RAM is important? Every time you open a camera, there is an app, right? Inbuilt camera is an app. So to access that app, RAM needs to be very quick. So it go and open the RAM, and then the RAM will go and hit your camera app. If there is any delay in your RAM, your phone gets hanged, isn't it? Did anyone of you observe this? Yeah. If there is any delay in your RAM, your phone gets hanged. So then you immediately will say, "Arey, I should have brought a new phone with a higher RAM." Why? Because the higher the RAM, the chances of your working is very fast. Then SAP understands that Oracle is not a in-memory database, which means I cannot use this as a RAM. I wanted to use a database which is RAM as well as the storage capability. Then they built something called HANA system, HANA database. So from 2009 onwards, SAP is heavily using HANA, which is an in-memory database, which is developed by SAP itself. Yeah, which is developed by SAP itself. So they have removed the dependency of using the Oracle database. Okay, clear? Now, what is S4? S4 means S4 HANA SAP system with HANA database. Okay, so an ECC system can be either on Oracle database or can be on HANA database. However, an S4 SAP system will always be on HANA database. Clear? I hope we understand what is a database, what is RAM, why SAP has to develop a new memory database instead of using the Oracle database, and we understand what is SAP S4HANA system is. Can I assume it? We have understood this? Or any questions you have before I proceed for the next one? Any questions?
Okay.
Okay. If no questions, then we'll see. So now we understand what is HANA database, what is SAP, what is ERP. Now let us try to understand what are the different modules we have and what are the different systems, right? SAP implementation can be of different systems. Let us say if you want to eat a pizza, what would you do? All of you, if you want to eat pizza, what would you do? What is your options? Do you cook your own pizza? Do you prepare your own pizza? Or do you go and eat at a restaurant? What do you do?
We'll order
We'll
or
order and
we'll go
eat.
to a restaurant.
We'll order and eat. Why you are preferring to order and eat than preparing to, preparing for to make your own pizza? Any specific reason?
Yeah, that is faster, and they are selling the similar product to everyone, so they can sell
Correct.
to me as well.
Absolutely. So that is faster, which is already been there in the market and which is already been used by other customers. So for me, it's not going to be a rocket science. Just order it, whatever the other customers are using it, I'll use the same thing. Correct? When you order it, do you require pizza raw materials? Do you require pizza dough or do you require pizza oven to make? Do you require any vegetables to cut? Do you require any sauces or anything? You don't require any of these things, right? All you need is just to pay, get the pizza and eat. Correct? Right or not? Now let us say you decided you want to eat pizza. You decided that you get your own materials for making the pizza and you give the outsourcing of making pizza to somebody else. Yeah, possible, right? Third option, I'll say no, I don't want to even outsource it. I'll get my own pizza. I'll get my own machines. I'll make my own pizza and then eat it. Now tell me, which one is the quickest option? Which one is takes time to make pizza and eat? Which is a quicker one? Ordering pizza and getting it, right? The next best is get the raw materials, give it to outsource vendor, and then he make the pizza and give it to you. Last option, which is very delayed option, is you cook your own pizza, you bring your own machines and do it, right? Similarly, SAP is also giving you different implementation options. One, they call it as cloud, public cloud. Public cloud is like you're ordering pizza online. For example, companies like small and medium sized enterprises, right? They don't know what is best practice. They don't know what is there in the market. Like just now Ravi Verma has mentioned, if I want to order pizza, I'll order it because others customers are also using it. So when I go to public cloud implementation, what SAP says, hey, listen, you are a manufacturing company. 999 manufacturing companies are following this process. You also use this process. I'm a small company. I don't have any process established. I'll say, okay, if other companies are following same, other companies who are in the same industry following same practice, I'll also follow the same practice and my implementation will become easier. I will pay for the things that I'm using. I'm using 10 user access, I'll pay for 10 user access. I'm paying 30 users, I'll pay for 30 user accesses. Yeah. If any user, if let's say 5 users have resigned and I'm not going to replace it, then I don't have to pay for 5 users because whoever eats, I'll only pay for it, right? 30 people are eating pizza, I pay for 30 people. 5 people left, 25 people are eating pizza, then I'll only pay for 25 people. Correct or not? Now let us say there's another thing called private cloud. Here, let's take an example of same pizza. What did we discuss? Second option, we get the raw materials, we give it to a pizza company, let's say Domino's, and ask them to prepare the pizza and give it to us. Now tell me, whose raw materials is this? My raw material? Machinery is whose? Domino's. So in the kind of a private cloud implementation, I have the business processes. I have the data. I have the best practices, what I want to implement. But I don't want to own the servers. I don't want to take the headache of maintaining the machines. Let SAP maintain the machines. Let SAP do the machine maintenance. I will only use those machines. I'll pay for the usage, right? That is called private cloud. And then you have something called on-premise. What is on-premise? This is like you have your in order to make your own pizza, you went to the machinery store and you got your oven. You went to supermarket, you got your ketchup. You went to supermarket again, you brought pizza dough and other items to make pizza you have brought and you installed in your home pizza maker and then cut your vegetables and start making the pizza and doing everything by yourself. Let us say you brought the pizza maker and then immediately there's a repair. Do you call Domino's and say, hey, there is a pizza maker in my home. Can you come and repair it? Or you take your own responsibility to call the service guy and get it repaired and pay the service guy, right? You do it by yourself, which means in case of on-premise, the entire responsibility of maintaining the system of SAP is with whom? Is it with the business or with the SAP? It's with the business. In case of public cloud, you don't have to worry about maintaining the system or anything. You just order it and eat it, SAP. In case of private cloud, you just only provide the raw materials and the rest of the thing taken by the Dominus company. Say, so here SAP is taking care of the SAP servers. Here in the on-premise solution, you are taking the entire responsibility on your shoulders. Okay. So there are three different type of SAP system implementations, either the public cloud or the private cloud or the on-premise. Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yes,
Which is
please.
the best system will be future will be bright?
Okay. There is
On-premises
no,
private cloud or
yeah,
public cloud?
there is no such thing as a best. It all depends on the requirements, because your public cloud, right? You don't have an option to customize it, because you have to go with what is there in Domino's menu, isn't it? Correct or not?
Yes,
You
yes.
you want to eat a pizza with 4 or 5 vegetables mixed. You call to Domino's guy and say, hey, I want to eat pizza like this. They'll say, so sorry, sir, we don't have that option. You have to order what is there. So public cloud will give you very less flexibility. It is majorly for
Okay,
companies
okay.
who don't want flexibility. They want to see and use what is there. Private cloud, you have a flexibility, but the flexibility is limited. On-premise, you have more flexibility, at the same time more responsibility. Slowly, SAP is discontinuing, have a plan to discontinue on-premise. So they're slowly encouraging every customer to go with the cloud, either the public cloud or the private cloud. So to answer your question, if it is a small and medium-sized enterprise which doesn't know anything in the market and doesn't want to, doesn't want to spend too much time in the system, they go with the public cloud. If an organization is established, let's say such as Apple or Microsoft or Google or Infosys or Shell or Tata Steel, etc., they go with a private cloud option because they know that there is a standard is given something and I have to customize here and there. In our example, pizza, vegetables and raw materials, I am only going and giving it to Domino's. So I know what I want, right? I want I want to eat veg, non-veg, everything combined in one pizza. So I'll bring all the materials, go to the Domino's and say, hey boss, you make the pizza with these combinations. Correct? So private cloud give you that flexibility. Going forward, all the implementations of your SAP will be either the public cloud or the private cloud. Only two options. Clear? Now, from
Yes,
last,
yes, clear. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. From last to 5-10 minutes, I'm talking the word called implementations. Can someone tell me what do you understand by the word implementation? Let's say I'm implementing something. What does it mean?
Entire business process change non-SAP to SAP.
Okay, I mean,
That's
I'm
called
not talking from
the
a English.
implementation.
I mean, I'm not talking from a SAP point of view. Implementation means there is nothing as of now. I'm trying to adapt to something and create something. Correct? Correct or not? Implementation means there is nothing existing as of now. I'm trying to bring a new concept here, right? So there is an implementation in SAP called Greenfield implementation. So what does it mean? It means as of now, the customer don't have SAP as an ERP and they want to implement SAP. So they wanted to everything from the scratch. They wanted to start and do the implementation project. And then they have something called brownfield implementation. What is this colors? Greenfield, brownfield. So brownfield implementation means they're already in the ECC system. Did we discuss about ECC system? What is ECC system? Look at the history of SAP, R1, R2, R3, ECC. So this is like you're using iPhone 10. Now we are in iPhone 16. So what SAP is saying, boss, iPhone anyways, you cannot upgrade like that. What I'm trying to say, ECC system of your ECC system, I will convert it to S4 system and give it to you the system. So such a kind of implementations are called brownfield implementations. So there are two types of implementations: greenfield implementation, brownfield implementation. Greenfield implementation means SAP customer is not using SAP at all. Brownfield implementation means customer is using the SAP, but he's in an older version of SAP. So I'm trying to convert that older version into a newer, latest SAP version. Yeah, clear? Are any questions? Now, what
Yes.
happens? What happens once I do implementation? Is my relation with SAP is over? No. You implemented the system. Your users are using, your accountant is posting an accounting entry. He's getting an error. Who he needs to connect? He has to connect to a support guys saying that, hi team, I'm having an issue. Can you help me to fix this? So once the implementation is over, the job of SAP consultant is not over. Till the SAP is installed in your ERP or in your organization, you will have work continuously. So that kind of a work is called support work. Support projects, they say greenfield implementation, brownfield implementation, support projects are a BAU projects. They call it as BAU means business as usual. And then you have something called upgrade, technical upgrade projects. We'll discuss about upgrade projects when we start discussing more about different SAPs like R1, R2, R3, ECC, etc. At that time, we will discuss about upgrade project. Any questions so far, either on the ERP, what is ERP, what is SAP, what are the different modules in SAP, what are the different types of implementations, what are the different types of solutions we have like ECC, R3 or R1, R2, R3 or a public cloud or a private cloud or on-premise. Any questions so far on whatever the topics we discussed? Feel free to ask me any question. There is no such question as right or wrong question.
What is the difference between SAP FI and SAP CO? Is the most different or
Yeah,
another
okay.
topic of CO?
That's a good point you raised. Yeah. So before I go to the next topic, let's try to understand what are the different components in FI. Sorry, what are the different components in SAP? Now, when we are manufacturing the motor car, we discuss that we need interaction with the procurement team. We need discuss an interaction with the SD team, sales team, right? We need interaction with the manufacturing team. We need interaction with the finance team. Now, these are the different departments, right? Each department will have a different module in SAP. Finance guys will have FICO module. Sales guys will have SD module. Manufacturing guys will have production planning module, PP module. Product procurement guys will have material management module. Different modules we have. Now, what do we have under FICO module? The entire finance is being classified into two parts. One is called financing, another one is called controlling. Why do I require controlling? Why do I require finance? Controlling is majorly from the internal reporting point of view. Yeah. So let us say if I wanted to sell a product, let's say the same car, if I wanted to sell it, how do I arrive at the price of the sale? How do I arrive at what price should I sell it? I'll always have what is the total cost to manufacture the car and add some profit percentage. Then I will arrive at sales price. Correct? Correct or not? So what does the total manufacturing cost of a car will come in? What is my raw material cost? What is my labor cost? What is my overheads cost like power, water, or other utilities cost? Right? All these costs will come in and will comprised of or will be consolidated in a single and then we arrive at the sales price. Correct or not? So costing of all these will be done under the controlling module. Then what does the finance module will do? Taking care of your accounts receivable, accounts payable, your asset accountings, your banking, your GL accounting postings, all those things will be done by your finance module. Clear? So these are the different modules that I have under the finance. Yeah. Any questions from the others? Feel free to ask. Okay. Now, what are we going to discuss as a part of our sessions? Yeah. See, This is not an exact number of hours. The number of hours honestly depends upon how quickly and how easily we can understand the topics. So I'm only giving you an indicated numbers of 60 to 70 hours. It can be little less, it can be little more also. So we'll try to understand what is introduction to SAP S/4HANA. So whatever we discuss now is only a high level discussions. When we start the sessions, we are going to discuss in details of what is HANA, what is in-memory database means, what are the advantages of in-memory database, how it is different from your classical database. We'll try to understand it. And then we'll try to understand what is activate methodology. I think Ravi Verma is asking, right? What are the different project methodology implementations, right? So we'll discuss that as a part of our activate methodology. And then we'll discuss the journey of greenfield, brownfield implementations, right? And then we'll discuss about something, a universal general concept, which is a unique concept in SAP S/4HANA Finance. And then we'll start discussing about the financial accounting in SAP S/4HANA. So how do we post transactions? How do we post fixed assets? How do we post collection, customer payments, customer receipts, accounts payable? All those things we will discuss it. So we discuss module 2, financial accounting in S/4HANA. And then we'll discuss general ledger accounting, accounts payable and receivable, asset accounting, financial closing, and then we'll also discuss about your controlling a little bit of cost center accounting, profit center accounting, controlling area level. We will discuss it. Any questions on this particular course content?
Rohit, one question I have.
Yeah, sure.
So, Rohit, what is as an SAP, if I say FICO accountant role, if I ask you, what are the tasks which a person of SAP FICO should execute? Is it after implementation support? It is
No.
pure
The FICO role, that's what I was mentioning, right? You have a support work as well as the implementation work. So let us
Okay.
say I am the one who is implementing it.
Okay.
If you look at any company, right, there are always try to play with the different vendors. One vendor will implement the project, another vendor will take over and support the project.
So, for example, if I am implementing SAP for say X client,
Yeah.
So does it start with your, even the SAP FICO should collect the information for them, like
Correct. So when you, let's say you want to implement a SAP solution. So what is the first question you would ask the customer? Hey, how many businesses you have? What are the different segments reporting that you are doing? What are the different currencies you are involving in? Which countries you are operating in? All those information you capture it, right? This is called scope. This is called scoping workshop. So you're trying to understand from the customer what is the requirement. And then you go back and prepare something called BBPs, business blueprint document. Once you prepare a business blueprint document, you go through the document with the business users to understand and get a confirmation from them that what I understand is what you explained. And then you go and build your SAP system, right? And then you go and do the implementation. So does the implementation is a single word which I can immediately do it? No. What happens to your historical data? So you need to load the historical data into SAP, right? So you do that as a part of the migration. So always you have scoping, which is getting the requirements, blueprinting, and then implementing, migration, and post go live support. The post go live support can be given to a same company or can be a different company. If you see, majority of the implementations are done by Accenture, PwC, Deloitte. But the support projects are taken by TCS, Infosys, and Wipro. Why? Because the billing rate for TCS, Wipro, and Infosys is lower compared to PwC, Deloitte, and Accenture. So most of the companies will say, hey, I'll implement it with the best consultants and I'll manage the system with a lower best consultant. I'm not degrading Infosys, Wipro, or TCS, but that's how the industry is working. Yeah. So they try to get implementation done by a premium consulting companies, and the support work they give it to other premium consulting companies. Clear? Any questions?
Rohit, one more question, sorry.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So if I say I'm learning SAP FICO,
yeah,
would my initial data gathering also support SD and other component like your
No. So just like your finance department has different team members, right? Like accounts payable, accounts receivable, etc. Your logistics will also have different departments. Your procurement department is different. Your sales department is different. The guy working in finance payable section will not go and work in sales department, right? Similarly, the guy working in FICO module, finance module, will not touch SD module. But there is something called integration between SD and FI. So that we need to understand. I'll explain you that.
Sure. So in these sessions, are we also going to learn about integration as well?
Yes, of course. We'll cover it as part of integration also. We'll try to understand how do we integrate procurement, how do we integrate SD.
How deep we'll go for, say, SD model or material management?
I did not understand that question. How do you?
How deep we are going if we are discussing material management and SD also within SAP FICO?
See, I'll explain you about the terminologies and what does that mean. But I will not go into the details and show you how do we configure it, where do we configure it, etc. Because that's a different module altogether, right? So that particular module personally will explain you those things. To the extent of what is relevant for the integration, I'll explain it.
So I'm not sure whether my next question will be best to ask, but if I ask you about SAP FICO, SD, material management, and others HR, which one is the highest, in ranking and also in terms of opportunities for us?
Okay, Ravi, you know, right, how finance function works. At the end of the day in your organization, no matter which department is working, tell me where exactly to go and ends up finance, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately the accounting entry will come and sit in your books of accounts by way of finance postings. All your business transactions, let it be SD, HR, you hire a person, where the cost goes to. The kind of cost may go to HR department. The finance posting has to come in, right? So my point of view, I would feel finance is the most relevant field to be in. Let it be FICO, whether you learn SAP or not, but being in finance is an advantage because you are the center of the organization. Anything that happens in your organization, you are supposed to know and you will know it.
All right.
Let's say when I was working as a chartered accountant in one of the company, I was supposed to prepare budgets. So I used to call each department and ask them, hey, what's your budget for this month? Last month, you paid salaries to the extent of 100,000. Do you expect a rise in the salary for the current month? They say, yes, sir, I wanted to increase to 130. My immediate question would be, why? Why 30% increase? Did you hire a new guy? He will say, yes, sir, we have hired 10 people. Then imagine the same question is asked by a sales department guy. Does this HR guy will answer to the sales department guy? No. He will say, it's none of your business. Why do you even worry about my budget? The finance guy has the advantage. He can call any department and ask, what's your plan for the next year? I need to incorporate in my budget and show it to management. So being in finance is an advantage. And if you want to learn SAP and if you have a finance background, learn finance FICO.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay.
Understood. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Any questions from others? So that's all I wanted to explain it, a quick introduction to SAP FICO. What do we cover, what do we understand, yeah, and why we feel that learning SAP FICO is important. See, learning SAP FICO and SAP is important because the way organizations are functioning, you can't even imagine. Okay, let me stop recording it because I want to say something which I don't want to get